on my last video, I did a reaction to a YouTuber, Dougie Corrado's story of going to one of these elite parties, one of these blackmail parties in LA. And I think that video that he did, I think he was very, I'm glad he did it. I think he was very brave for putting that out. I think that's one of the most important videos on YouTube right now, especially with the P. Diddy thing, where he talks about basically elite blackmail parties. Go check out that video. So this latest video that he put out, he wanted to do a dark web episode for his channel. He had said that he had gotten a lot of requests to do that, and that it was something that he's always been kind of enamored with. So he went to a friend who navigates the dark web a lot, paid $500 for a mystery box, and after a month or so forgot about it. But then this mystery box showed up, and it looks like it's a continuation of what happened to him in LA, and that it's the same players. I've cut, into half of the video, and I'm picking it up to where he's opening the box. When he first got the box, it was rainbow letters with numbers on the top, and around the box it said, hope you're happy. And then the numbers on the top of the box, he decoded, A equals 1, B equals 2. He basically used that code to figure out what the numbers on top of the box said, and the code was, I will not stop. So already kind of ominous, but then once we see the rest of this video, we start to see how ominous this box is. So without further ado, we're going to get into Dougie Corrado's video.
Okay, so right away,
Happy birthday.
we're seeing happy birthday right here.
Weird.
Odd. Don't love it, but we have, okay. So it didn't come with packaging slips, but it does come with a from and a to. To says, to everyone you have ever loved.
Who has ever loved you?
Oh, I can't read. I can't read. To everyone who has ever loved you.
Yes.
I told you I'm a little dyslexic. From the man that's gonna take it all away.
it's still gonna be freaky, but
Okay. So I just pick up the happy birthday tissue paper and I put it off to the side, and there's just a couple random items in the box. And they just seem like random, harmless, everyday items. There was nothing about these items that were very special, and they weren't even presented in a cool way. They're just kind of tossed in there. And the first most obvious thing that I notice is the big squishmallow. It's big and purple, and it's right on the top. It was one of those squishy stuffed animals that you get at CVS or Walmart, but it was actually purple because it was a Pokemon. It was actually a Gengar. And see, that gave me a little twinge of anxiety because of a story that I've told in the past here. It's actually the 5th oldest video on my channel, and it's about strangers. So go watch that to understand the context of what a Gengar means to me. But it's just a stuffed animal, so I put it off to the side and I just move on to the next item. And the next item was a red bag of M&Ms. And it was like a red bag with a special cookie dough variety of M&Ms or something. I've never tried this kind of M&M before, and the bag was completely sealed, so I didn't think about inspecting the inside of it. I did kind of inspect it a little bit to see if it had been opened and then resealed, but it looked like it was the original packaging, so I just put them off to the side as well. And the inside of the box hadn't been nearly as exciting as the outside of the box yet, until I picked up the third item. It's going to initially sound as boring as the other 2 items, but when I picked it up, I started to get a very bad feeling. The third item was a bottle of Meyer's hand soap. And I know what you're thinking, who cares about hand soap? But this is the exact hand soap that we use in our house. It's our favorite hand soap, and it's the only one that we get. And this could be absolutely a coincidence, but we had just talked about how we needed to pick up more soap just the other day. We had just run out of this exact hand soap. And for some reason, the timing of it and the brand lining up really started to get to me. We talked about how weird that was for just a second, but we were both to the point where we just wanted to get this video done. So we just moved on to the next item.
it's okay. Go ahead, pull it up.
Let's just do it. Let's just
Yeah.
finish. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not nearly as nervous now. So we got a squishmallow.
A little stuffed animal.
So it's a Gengar.
Yeah.
You know, I don't love that either, but like, yeah, I don't love that.
Our dog actually loves these.
Yeah, we should give this to Apollo after.
Yeah.
He'll enjoy that. Okay. I guess it's a spooky Pokemon. It's a ghost type. So at least he's trying. We got M&Ms.
M&Ms. The flavor of those.
Cookie Crunch. Or Crunchy Cookie. I've never had these.
Okay.
Do they look like they're resealed? Like, why would he send us candy?
I don't know. It's very.
You think we're gonna eat it?
Yeah.
Item was just a long silver flashlight. And I feel like flashlights are a very common item in the mystery box unboxings that I've watched. So this item didn't really bother me. It was one of those items that are kind of a given. There's something creepy about receiving a flashlight in general because it can infer so many things. It could infer that you're gonna need it soon, or somebody else had used this to do something bad and creepy. It's just an easy, creepy item. And it didn't bother me one bit until I playfully tried to turn it on. And the switch didn't work. Nothing happened, and it immediately flashed me back to being in my old apartment with Joe. just feeling so defeated when the flashlight on my counter didn't work. It bothered me this time though. This time it felt like a slap in the face. It almost felt like an I told you so. So I shook the flashlight and I could tell that there's batteries in the flashlight for sure. So I unscrewed the back and I slowly let them fall out. And the batteries are flipped backwards, just like at the old apartment. And now I was just getting a bad feeling about this box in general. And this made me panic. So now every bad scenario just starts flooding my mind. Did I make a mistake ordering this thing? Did these people really find me? Or is this whole thing just a weird little coincidence? Like, this mystery box is completely unrelated to that. And how would this mystery box seller know to do this? There were no other items in the box. The bottom of the box was just covered in that same happy birthday tissue paper that was covering the top. And now that I had seen all of the items, I was just trying to look at the box as a whole, just trying to see any connection between each item. And I'm just trying to see if there could be any connection between the person who sent this and the people in LA. But it just doesn't make sense. Like, we didn't even put any of our information in when this box was ordered. It was all John's. There's no way they would even know that this box was coming to us. So how would they know? If it wasn't the people from LA, then the sender maybe could have seen one of my videos. But how would they know that I ordered it? John ordered it, and he used all of his info. I watched him do it. And the connections that I'm making in my head logically felt stupid because of what I knew about how John ordered it. Like, this box was made for John, and we were just opening it for YouTube. So my silly little head making these paranoid connections makes no sense. We got a flashlight, but doesn't work.
Doesn't even work.
This is just such a obvious thing to put in this, you know?
Yeah.
I kind of appreciate how this guy did it. I don't know how much everybody's gonna love it, because you know, you're kind of expecting it to be freakier.
Yeah.
Like the riddle's cool. Part of me thinks John did this.
Yeah.
Flashlight doesn't even work, but
It has like a happy birthday theme or something with our birthdays, which is weird.
that is weird. That's what makes me think John did it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, there's definitely stuff, there's definitely,
Batteries in there?
yeah.
Come on.
Is it focusing?
It just did, yeah.
Well, they're flipped. It has to be John. Because this is like too related to our stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we just posted that video. We just, like, the Gengar thing too, with this the stranger video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
The Pokemon thing, right?
it has to be him, because the batteries are flipped in this thing.
Maybe you should call him. Do you want to call him? Do you want to like end this now and call him, or what?
I mean, we did tell everybody that we were gonna do this.
Yeah.
Like, so I just want to finish it for them, you know. And that thought kind of calmed me down, and I kind of came to the conclusion that this must all be a coincidence. And I truthfully wasn't as worried anymore until I flipped the batteries in the flashlight, and I just turned the flashlight on playfully, pointing down towards the box. And I was just randomly pointing the flashlight towards the bottom of the box. So when I turned it on, I looked and it kind of went through the tissue paper, and I noticed something under it. There was something else at the bottom of this box under this tissue paper, but all I could see was a little emblem through the tissue paper that looked like a little tree, and all of the adrenaline just started flooding back in. I recognized that symbol, and I didn't want to pick up that tissue paper, but I knew I had to. So I slowly picked up the tissue paper and pulled it away, and I wasn't sure what I was looking at first. It was just like a collage of pictures. And the pictures were super dark and a little bit blurry, and I couldn't see what they were at first because they were all just flipped in different directions. But when I tilted my head to look at the nearest one, I realized who was in the picture. It was my girlfriend cooking in our kitchen, and the picture was taken through our back windows. And my adrenaline immediately turned to anger. Every protective fiber of my being was on fire, and I've never felt that before. I've never seen something that triggered me like that. So I started inspecting the other photos in there, and they're all pictures of us. They're all just pictures of us taken from outside of our house doing random stuff through our windows.
That's really creepy.
No, I don't like this at all.
Is that us walking the dog?
Oh. Babe, this is you making dinner. This is literally this week. This is me washing dishes.
That's you in the room.
They literally took this from our porch. They took this from our porch. Like literally through that window.
It has to be John then.
It has to
I
be.
have to believe it's John, so I don't start freaking out. So you're gonna have to call him.
Off record, like, I'm actually have to talk to him about this. This isn't. Like, I'm all here for a prank, but this isn't funny. This is like, this is almost like he put too much effort into this. This is freaky. This is literally us walking.
Yeah.
That was literally last week.
Like this person was following us on our walk, and my mind is just racing in a million different directions. And I start to look at all of the other items differently. And now that I know that this person is honed in on us, I know that there has to be something else to these items. Like the hand soap seems like a given. They just heard us say it. They heard us say it, and they just gifted it to us so we know that they were listening. Just like with the half and half. And the flashlight, they just did the exact same thing. They just flipped the batteries to let me know that they were back. But what about these other two items? A Pokemon Squishmallow? Like, could this be the dude from the park district from all those years ago? Is that guy even out of jail? Is he even still alive? But then it hit me. Our dog loves these things. He doesn't like toys or balls. He just likes to hold Squishmallows in his mouth. He just holds them in his mouth when he has big feelings and he just slowly chews on them. Was this thing in here as a gift to my dog? Like, why would they even do that? Just to let us know that they know what our dog likes? Our dog might like Squishmallows, but he definitely doesn't like strangers. And no Squishmallow is saving you from an angry 100-pound Doberman. So I'm just moving this Squishmallow around in my hand, just inspecting. But then I feel something inside of it. I barely felt it, but it felt like something hard while I was rotating it. So I start inspecting to find if there's any openings in it. And right on the stuffed animal's spine, there's like a little cut. You wouldn't notice it if you were just messing with it. You really had to look close to see the incision. So I carefully reach my fingers inside of it and I feel what's on the inside. And it just feels like a hard piece of wood or something. So I just slowly pull it out and then I realize almost immediately that it's a big dog treat shoved inside of my dog's favorite kind of toy. But when I flip this treat around, it has 5 pills stuck to the treat, as if these things are glued on them. There's just 5 circular white pills attached to this big treat, and now it starts to make sense.
So this, we just talked about. So, and this was like hidden in there with these.
So that he would like get it out. And
Yeah, if we gave this to him, he would have found like I almost didn't notice these. I almost just like tossed this onto the floor because I was like, what is this? This is just stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
They wanted me to give that Squishmallow to our dog without noticing the treat inside. But the dog would know there was a treat in there, and he would have gotten to that treat eventually and would have eaten these pills while he was eating the treat. And they put this many pills on there to make sure that either the dog didn't make it or he was at least incoherent for the night. Whoever sent this realized that the dog was an issue and he tried to drug him. So then I turned my attention to the bag of M&Ms, because if a stuffed animal has an ulterior motive, then a bag of candy can too. So I'm inspecting this bag and I realize something. The M&M guy that's on the front of the package has a weird hairstyle. It looks like somebody put a swipe of peanut butter on his head, and it looks a little bit out of place. It doesn't look like it matches the flavor that's on the package. So I take a better look at the flavor label, and it looks like it's glued on. It looks like it's on there covering something else. And if you didn't look really close, you definitely wouldn't have noticed it. And I managed to peel this thing off, and it says peanut butter underneath. Whoever this was tried to poison my dog and my girlfriend. My girlfriend's allergic to peanuts.
Do you see that? You are not above the rules. Your friend speaks too highly of himself. He's helpless like an infant, as are you. You really thought I wouldn't know the box was for you? You thought we couldn't find you? Your ignorance is insulting, Dougie. I mean, Mr. Anonymous. P.S. Sleep well.
Wow. So if you watched my last video that I did this on Mr. Corrado. He put a video out about a Hollywood party that he went to, and I did a very extensive analysis of that. And now his last video was him getting a box. He went on the dark web for his channel to get a box, get one of those mystery boxes, and he had a friend do it for him. And that's what he got. He got basically a box that is tied to his experience at that party that he went to in LA. Very, very interesting. He decoded the numbers on the box outside of the box and inside the box. As you saw, there was happy birthday paper. It had his birthday, her birthday on there. And then it had some very sinister items in there. Hand soap, peanut butter M&Ms. His girlfriend is allergic to M&Ms, and it had the flipped batteries in the flashlight, just like he had said when they were gang stalking him in LA. And then he had the ominous letter, pictures taken of somebody being outside their home. And then later on, he found out that in that purple chew toy, there was a dog treat with about 6 pills on there. I hope he gets those analyzed because I'd like to know what those pills were. When you look at the video, I cut it to half so it wouldn't, the first half of the video is him talking about the box and opening it. But during that video, you see his dog running around the house, and it's a big old Doberman, and it's got a purple chew toy in its mouth running around. So then when he opens a box, there's a purple chew toy looking thing that his dog would definitely be interested in. Once the dog sees that, he's going to want that. And then he touched it, and he felt that there was a milk bone back there with some pills glued or whatever to the milk bone. Also, the hand soap is the hand soap that they use. I would highly recommend that he not use the hand soap either. Maybe have that analyzed too to see if there's some kind of sinister substance in that as well. So, if this video is true, if this isn't, Dougie making up some stuff to get views, and I don't think it is, if we find out later that he did this to himself, it would destroy his career on YouTube and as a influencer. It seems like somebody's trying to scare him into stopping making videos and stuff like that. He put this out anyway, but very, very sinister. He's freaked out. They seem to know what he's saying, and they seem to know a lot about him. Again, this is NSA level type of stuff. If you have the ability, you can turn people's phones on and listen to what they say and their conversations and know much about them. But something else kept popping in my mind as I was watching this video. So years ago, I had read, like 20 years ago, I'd read in a magazine article, a DC reporter was in Washington, D.C., and he was writing some articles that were critical of Bush Jr. This was around like 2001, 2002, and he was writing things critical of Bush Jr. He said that in this article that he got called in by the Secret Service, and they were investigating him for maybe making threats on the president. But, it was all just, again, probably a thing to threaten him. He really didn't do that. They were just kind of flexing to get him to quit writing these articles. But the interesting thing that he talked about during this interview is he said that, during the interview, they put a packet of papers in front of him, and it was 80 pages. He said he flipped through it, and it was heavily redacted, but he was looking through 80 pages of information, and it was about him. So think about that for a second. This reporter in the other article that he wrote many years ago talks about, a packet of papers, 80 pages long, that was personal information on him. What could you possibly do to get 80 pages of information written about you? If you're just a regular person. Now, if the NSA, the NSA listens to everything we do. If this was an NSA intercept that intercepted all of his stuff for the past few years, then that would probably, equal about 80 pages worth of stuff, and it would be very detailed stuff. Very, they intercept all emails, all telephone calls, everything. And, what I'm getting at is I've read accounts where the NSA has listens to everything, but then not only that, they're 50, 100 years ahead of what the technology we have now. A big thing right now is AI. I remember reading 20 years ago about how the NSA had artificial intelligences that were basically living beings that could collate all of this information that they'd gotten through the NSA, and then would be able to write down all the details of somebody. Somebody knows that she's allergic to peanuts, knows their address, knows about the dog, knows about the chew toys he likes, knows everything about him, and they put a letter that had the same tree symbol from the last video that I did of Mr. Corrado. So what I'm trying to say is this: somebody's got some extremely high power information and surveillance on Mr. Corrado and probably on all of us, and they can tap into that anytime and look at anything that they want to know about us, any foibles, any things that we do, purchases. They're going to know, they're going to be able to tell what our political proclivities are through the books that we read, our purchases, blah, blah, blah. And if you were to collate that, that'd probably be like 80, 100 pages. Think about that. So, that's what I was thinking the whole time I was watching this video. They know a lot about him, and they've got somebody, hanging out around his house taking pictures. So there you go. Tell me what you think of that. I think that this is very important. I think that Mr. Corrado's last video that he did, where he talked about going to this party and all the things that happened afterwards, is one of the most important videos that has gotten put out there, because it shows a different level of people, elites, and it gives us a very rare look into how things are operating. Go check out my last video where he saw what was going on at that party. That's how you could control a whole society. Once you get all of the announcers, all of the content creators, politicians, judges, stars in your pocket, now you can move society in any direction. And the stakes are becoming even higher now, because these content creators and these social media platforms are plugged right into our children at a very early age. I was just watching a video about how this latest generation can't read or spell or do anything, just because they've got these, these devices and can do that type of stuff. They're not learning. There's also been other, studies that have been done that talks about how children's brains are changed and reformatted in a different way with all the screen time that they're getting, and that they're unable to tie their shoes, tell time on a watch or a wall clock. They are unable to read. They are unable to do a lot of things. And, content creators and social media platforms, they're rude, they're nasty, they're belligerent in class. And, they're swallowing Tide Pods, they're kicking in doors for the, kick in a door TikTok challenge. We're, once you have these content creators in your pocket, you're able to move society in a certain direction. And his testimony gave us a look. And if this was really how things were operating, and that there was a group like this, they definitely would not like that he exposed this, and they definitely would be trying to threaten him. And that's what this latest video looks like to me. So tell me what you think in the comments below. I just wanted to say, Mr. Corrado, I'm feeling for you, brother. Thank you so much for exposing this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. You are being brave for us. This was something that needed to be seen and people need to know about. So that's it. We're going to get out of here. Tell me what you think in the comments below.